We'll give our hearts to the children of Indiana to make Indiana the best education state in our country.
Indiana's former superintendent of public instruction, Tony Bennett, was once the ballyhooed hero of the movement bent on reshaping public education through the use of charters, vouchers, standardized testing, and teacher evaluations. With his signature A to F school grading system, Bennett promised to hold so-called failing schools accountable. In the 2012 Indiana election, Bennett lost in an upset to award-winning teacher and underdog Glenda Ritz. Ritz was practically an unknown before she ran with the promise of an educational agenda, not a political agenda.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I dare say this is the last time I'll ever be on a stage like this, so I'm going to sign off by saying I have no regrets.
In the summer of 2013, while Bennett was in his new position as Education Commissioner of Florida, it was discovered through publicly accessible emails that Bennett and his education team had made a manipulative move. When he was still Indiana's superintendent, it appeared that an Indianapolis charter school run by a prominent Republican donor would receive a poor grade. Bennett had touted that Crystal House Academy would perform as an A school, but troublesome high school data gave evidence that the charter school was not performing as Bennett had promised. In reality, Crystal House had earned a C. Frustrated, Bennett frantically put his team into action. The charter's grade deceivingly changed from a C to an A.
Munster High School has been recognized by Newsweek, by the Washington Post, as one of the best high schools in the nation. We have received recognition from the College Board and from the Indiana Department of Ed for our Advanced Placement Program. This past year, our performance passing rate was 91.3% with the ECAs, end of course assessments. A couple years ago, you gave us those goals. At that time, we didn't meet the goal of 90% ECAs. I went back to my staff, and we decided that that was a good goal to meet. And now I have to go back to them and tell them that we met the goal that you set before us, but now you're going to be rated as a C.
And so it came down to all the numbers say that your school is an A, except this one little criteria about graduation rate for special needs students, and we missed it by one student who then passed his 9th semester, which was his 5th year. But yet, because he can't do it in 4 years, it turns us from an A to a C school. One student.
You don't want your high-performing schools being rated as a C. When now in a new voucher system, which you've created, we have a level of competition for schools now. So in an era of competition, which I support, in an era of accountability I support, make the accountability metric accurate and give us a fighting chance as a public school.
On the one hand, the rules are the rules, and the metrics were the metrics, and everybody knew what the metrics were, and you play the game based on the rules. You may not like the rules, and then you want to change the rules for the future, that's fine, but at the moment you're playing by the rules as they were set, and they're the same rules for everybody.
When a rule hurts a public school, it's okay. But when it hurts a school that's part of this privatization movement, they need to change things. And it felt like we didn't matter. It felt like public schools didn't matter.
Only 33% of Crystal House Academy's sophomore class passed algebra testing. So Tony Bennett and his team decided to favor the charter school by removing this principal factor.
Our kids passed the algebra test at 94%. That was a goal that we wanted to reach, and we did. We were much higher than 33%.
While Crystal House Academy's 33% algebra score was completely dropped out of the equation to raise its overall grade only 1 year prior, Munster Public Schools were denied flexibility to eliminate one student's low performance rating that kept them from an A. Tony Bennett readily made exceptions for his favorite charter school, but not for a public school.
You know, I wanted to go back and hug some of my teachers because they felt like they did something wrong. They felt like when we got a C that they were the responsibility. They felt responsible. And yet, you see this and you go, You just go, wow. I mean, that's the best word you could say is wow.
The founder of Crystal House has given millions to Republicans, including $130,000 directly to Bennett's campaign.
I made the comment to my wife, well, I guess if I would have walked down with $100,000, we may have gotten our grade changed from a C to an A. And that's how I felt.
After his Indiana wrongdoings were made public, Bennett resigned as Florida Education Commissioner. This time, Tony Bennett was held accountable.
I made a decision today in light of the malicious, unfounded reports out of Indiana that it's not fair to the children of Florida that I continue as commissioner and deal with the distractions.